Good day, everyone. I'm your host, Michelle White. This is You've Tuned into Community Update 313. I'm your host, Michelle White again, and my co host, Rob White. Hey, what's up, Rob?
What up, though, Detroit? We are having a good time. We have a phenomenal guest here. I cannot wait. I know you guys see my background, and it looks a little different. That's because I'm out in the seats. I'm out in these streets. You hear me? No, I'm joking. But we're gonna have a good time. We have a phenomenal guest, and I love when there's people that are. I don't want to say young people because I'm not young anymore, but just people that are in that millennial stage that are taking the next step. So who do we have up next?
Rashana Perkins. Come on down.
Hey, hey,
Hey,
hey, hey.
Hi
Rashana.
everyone.
How you
Um,
doing?
To
I'm
all
doing
of
very
you, we're
well.
so glad you're here, Rashana. So, Rashana, to let everyone know, Rashana is an author of a book called Meet the Busbys, and it's a joyful and heartfelt children's book in uh, in the loving honor of her mother and her grandmother, and it was created and her auntie and who courageously battled cancer. So her mother battled cancer, her grandmother battled cancer, and her aunt battled cancer, and that birthed the book called Meet the Busbys. So she's going to tell us about her story. This is still International Women's Month. And so I met her at a International Women's Month event, and her sharing her story is so phenomenal. And when you hear from her, and you all are young, we're all young. It's yeah, age is
Yeah.
nothing to young, right? So we thank you again, Rashana, for being our guest this evening, and we can't wait to get into your story.
Yep.
Well, I thank you so much for providing me this platform and this opportunity. And I just want to say thank you for being here. And hello to everyone from Detroit.
Hey, hey, hey.
So, Rashana,
So
tell us. Go ahead,
go
Robert.
ahead.
I was just going to say, tell us how you got started with this book. I just read a little piece, and you work in it. You're an educator as well as a mother and an author. And we're going to get into it a little more. But this book, Meet the Busbys, has gone international in less than a year. That's
Wow.
phenomenal. International in less than a year. So, Rashana, tell us how you got started with this book and tell us more.
All right. So my name is Rosanna Perkins, and I am
Rashana,
40.
sorry.
Mhm. I am 42 years old. And before I wrote Meet the Busbys, when I was 8 years old, I actually wrote a letter to President Bill Clinton in 1992 when I saw his inauguration. I had a really wonderful teacher named Mrs. Brownscombe. And Miss Brownscombe really used to encourage me to write all of the time, but I still didn't consider myself a writer. When I wrote this letter to Bill Clinton, I received a letter back from him. And my teacher, Miss Brownscombe, she entered that letter into a young writers contest, and I actually won an award for it. And throughout life, I would just always write things, but I never considered myself a writer. So,
Mm.
full circle moment, which I'll get to at the end. Also, I had two lines in my head when I was 8 years old because I always wrote poems and I never knew what I would do with those two lines, but I had those two lines since I
Mm.
was 8 years old. So, fast
Wow.
forward to 2025. I was working in a different field and I was basically just showing up to work, and it wasn't my ideal job, but it was very lucrative.
Mm.
And the rug got pulled from underneath me. So I wasn't able to just show up and just live a boring life. God
Mm.
had bigger plans for me.
You said
And
live a
one of the
boring
things that
life.
he was
You said live a boring life.
yeah. So God had bigger plans for me. He wouldn't just let me live that regular life. He pulled the rug from underneath me, and I had a separation with that employment, and it forced me to look inside of myself and see how I could re-envision myself and how I could
Mm,
reinvent myself. And I actually went to the library one day because I came up with the idea of a children's literacy nonprofit called Ready to Read with Ramel. And I pitched that idea at the library, but I guess the idea was a bit premature at the time. But while I was there, I was talking to a librarian and I
mhm,
was telling her my idea about um Ready to Read with Ramel and how I would probably need a logo and how I just love bumblebees and I wanted to write a book about bumblebees. And
mm.
the librarian told me, "Oh, sure, that sounds so cool. I know what you always do in the library. I would love to make a logo for you for free." I said, "You know what? No, I don't want you to make a logo for free for me. I would like for you to illustrate the book." And she was like, "Okay." She had actually went to college for graphic design, but she was just working as a librarian,
Wow.
which I'm sure is a great life. But I pulled something more out of her. So
Yeah.
she enlisted on the idea immediately. And I just, it was like a whirlwind of things just happening to me because um, I asked her to write this book with me, but I actually didn't know where the financial support was about to come from because I had just separated from my job, but it's like God literally started to order my footsteps, and every time that
And
I
she
needed to have,
illustrated all of this. She was your illustrator.
yes, her name is
Wonderful job.
yes, her name is Miss Susie Hardings, and I cannot tell the story without mentioning her, but she enlisted on the idea with me that day back in like October, and right after that, the Busby's were born in October and finished in like at the end of November.
October of last year of 2025,
Yes.
end of November.
Yes. I,
And you tell
yes.
us your mother had passed from cancer. Your mother, did they, who passed first? Your mother, your grandmother, or your auntie?
So my grandmother passed first of colon cancer, then my aunt passed after her, and that was stomach cancer. And my mom passed abruptly. I'm like in
Mm,
2020. My mother passed away on 7/7/2020 from pancreatic cancer. She was diagnosed on
mm,
March 6th.
mm,
And I knew I wanted to bring my mother back to life because I missed her so much. I miss my grandmother so much. I miss my aunt so much. And when I was going through that pivotal career change at the time, those were the women that I would be calling to ask for some type of assistance or guidance. Like, tell
mm,
me, what do I do? But in the absence of them being there, I had to tap
mm,
inside of myself and
mhm.
just have long talks with God. And everything
Yeah.
that you need is already inside of you.
Yeah.
And the Busbys just came to me because I have pure love for science and
Mhm.
I wanted
Right.
to incorporate science. I wanted to incorporate the resources of cancer that I didn't know about that I could have probably utilized to help my mom that was going through cancer.
Uh-oh.
She went off.
Uh-huh.
It looks like somebody probably called her or something like that.
Forgot to tell her to put on do not disturb.
Yeah. Let's see if she can come on.
So
Um,
this book is just really phenomenal, guys. I love the face of the character and you know how she made that, and just as a love for bees. And she also has shared and will share more that the cover has resonated with so many people. Just the cover alone with the musical notes, the flower, and
mhm.
the little bee, Meet the Busbies
Yeah.
by
I was
Rasana.
gonna ask you a question. How does she remember from 8 years old up until now? Because
I'm
remembering from
sorry.
8 years old. No, you're fine.
That's
So
okay. We were
my
talking about the
question
book.
for
We're
you,
going to keep, go ahead.
I have one main question for you, and I love your story. How in the world did you remember those two lines from eight? until the time that you write the book.
So
Wait a
the
minute.
reason
Wait,
why
you want to put on Do Not Disturb on your phone too.
okay,
So
let
we
me
were
see.
having some technical difficulties, but
Yes,
there we go. Because if people
I'm
call you,
looking right now. I think I just enacted it. I apologize.
that's
You're
Um,
okay.
good.
but those two lines, I actually utilized in my mother's eulogy because I performed it.
Mm, got
And
you.
those two lines
Got you.
were Black woman, strong, tough, and hard. Black woman almost never caught off guard. This
Mm,
Black woman was a sight to see, and to think all my life you've been fighting for me. I will
Mhm.
bless your
mm,
wounds and dress your flesh. You walked this earth as a warrior and you did your best. I will send your soul back to the sands of Egypt from which you came. There is a throne in heaven awaiting you with your name. Fear not, for our Lord God is with you. And when it is my time, I will come too. You are of royal blood, that is your lineage. And it will be my lifelong journey to show my appreciation for our heritage. Constance, your voice in my head until the end of time. I'm forever grateful the Lord saw fit to make you mine. And that's
mm.
Warrior Woman.
I
That's good.
love
That's good.
that.
I love that.
Thank
And
you.
That's nice.
that's an inspiration from your mother.
Thank you. Yes.
And
Now
words that you spoke as a 8-year-old. Some of
I'm
those,
gonna
then you added
I'm
to
gonna I'm gonna use that, but I won't give you credit. I'm gonna use it in my relationship. I'm, I'm gonna say I made it up. No, I'm joking around. No.
Honestly, when the doctor came to me and told me that my mother had cancer, he didn't say it to me. He looked at me. He looked at me
Mm,
and he said it without having to say it. And that was March 6th. And then March 9th is my mother's birthday, which
mm,
we just celebrated together with your mom on that day, International Women's Day. And March
mm,
14th, the world shut down. But I asked God that week, I found out that my mother's illness, pancreatic cancer, was terminal.
mm,
And that week, I asked God, I said, God, can you turn me into a warrior? Because I have brothers and sisters. And I know I
mm,
don't get the opportunity to grieve because I have to be strong enough for them. And my
mm.
mother wanted a daughter so bad, she didn't even really know what to do with a daughter when she got one because she had so many boys first. But
Mhm,
she just knew that she needed a daughter. And at that time, God gave me the strength I need to be everything that I needed to be for her. Everything that I
mm,
needed to be for her, I was able to do. And I was able to give her an Egyptian style funeral. And it was so
mm,
beautiful. And God just made it so I was able to give her a black horse and carriage and shut down Grasher Avenue with
wow.
these black horse and carriage, with this black
And
horse
this
and
was
carriage.
after you had lost your were cut from your position or
This was in
transition.
this was in 2020, right?
Okay.
During the
COVID.
height of COVID.
Okay.
And I always remember as we were taking the trip down Gratiot Avenue, it took a really long time for the horses to go down the street. So I
Mhm.
called the Roseville police and when I called the Roseville police, I was like, do you think you could give us a police escort? And they said, absolutely. And they pulled up in 3 minutes. And my mother basically got like a standing ovation down Gratiot Avenue as she was on her way to her funeral home. And everybody was like, who is that? Who is that? And it
Mhm.
was my mom. And it was just like the best feeling to give her the care and the love that
Yeah.
she gave to me. It was
Yeah.
a full circle moment.
And that is phenomenal. And
Thank you.
the in here it says the book was born from love, loss, and the desire to turn tears into something meaningful. And that's what
Mhm.
she's done. That's what you wanted to do. And I love that you had this love for bees. Most
Absolutely.
people run away from bees, which they shouldn't run, but they, don't look at them as cute little characters. And then so in this book, you use the phrase, did you know? Did you on all the pages? So what inspired that? And tell us a little bit about some of the did you knows.
Well, the did you knows are are all correlated to the introductions. So I wanted to make sure that I could educate children at the same time that I'm entertaining them. So, like for example, with my mother's introduction, it says do, 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 do.
And this book will be for any children, right? Any
Yes,
adults or children, actually.
children, adults, people of all ages have told me that they really love the story. But for example, with my mother's page, it says, "Hi, I'm Constance Busby," because Constance was my mother's name, and
Mhm.
I just have to dance because because as soon as I hear a sweet melody, that's my chance. Bees like me were born to do the waggle dance, and the waggle dance is scientifically a way that bees communicate, and it's been documented that that's how they show where the pollen and nectar are. So I made the did you know fact correlate to her introduction, and just tried
Awesome.
to make it like a fun loving thing at the same time.
I love it. And then I'm noticing like each person, Eloise Busby was that she was the owner of the famous music label Busby B Records. So
Mhm.
entrepreneurship is running your family. And was that an aunt, grandmother? Who is Eloise?
So Eloise actually did not pass away from cancer.
Yeah.
Eloise passed away from old age, but
Mhm.
she was a loved one to someone else. So what I did was I brought her back to life, and I made her owner of Busby B Records because I plan on releasing a song for the Busbys. And
Thus
I
the
also
musical notes.
Mhm. And I also plan on um showing what it is to be a music owner. So it was to put the idea of entrepreneurship in there also.
Mhm.
And yeah, she's also an African bee. So I want to take her story and I want to take her to Africa and, take the Busbies everywhere that they possibly can go.
Now, technically, you shared when I met you that the book has gone international and happens to be in many countries. Can you share how that happened and tell us where? First of all, tell us where people can find the book. We'll come back to that too, but tell us
Mhm.
again now where people can find Meet the Busbies. And this is your first book that has always already gone international.
Yes. So luckily, big distributors, I'm sorry, yeah, big bookstores like there's a prestigious one over in the UK called Waterstones, and
Mhm.
Waterstones is one of the places that you can order it online. There's a place called Strand Books. I believe Strand Books, I want to say they might be in Austria. Booktopia is another website. That one is either Austria or Australia. There is a website called Rakuten, which is in Japan. Meet the Busbies is like literally on all the major retailers. Another one is Pax for Lag. I believe that is a German website. It's available in Germany. It's literally available in at least 50 countries. When you type in Meet the Busbies, you can literally find it anywhere. It's in Barnes and Noble. It's on Amazon UK. It's on the regular Amazon. It's wherever you would like to find Meet the Busbies online. It is there. It's in Walmart. It's there.
So you went to some sites, or your publicist or your person that's working with you went to some sites and got you signed up on all these sites. I'm asking for people that are authors already or aspiring authors, and they signed you up on these websites where people can purchase the book. That was one step. Is that what you're saying?
So I do have people working for the Busbies also. So that was kind of a part of a bigger deal that they were seeking out. So I don't want to misspeak when saying that. I'm not exactly sure, but it was basically their decision to pick up the book based on like the design
Mhm.
and the idea behind the book.
And so people loved the design. It just resonated with so many people. Now we know that that was because of God's favor, and
Hmm.
I know that you've shared that you know He's ordering. He's just opened up a whole new path and ordering your steps, and
Hmm.
opened up a new pathway. Come on, tell us some about that, because you had us. We were going the other day. But people need to
So,
hear those encouragements. You know, we all
absolutely.
need encouragement. There are a lot of people that are listening right now that have a desire to maybe write that book, but they might be a little fearful, and they have to just, you've got to just move beyond the fear and get it done. And write. And how did you know to write the words and the way you did? And the inspiration, yes, but then you had to sit down and literally write them. Tell us.
So, writing has been second nature for me, like all of my life. That's the first thing that I do. Like, and I guess I would consider myself like a metaphorical writer.
Mhm.
So I can fixate on one thing and I can break it down. And I actually kind of developed that as I grew older. And one of my favorite music artists is Fabulous. And I saw him do that in certain songs. He would take something like the movie Friday and he would break down all the elements of Friday.
Mhm.
And like I also have another poem called I Am a Woman, I Am a Tree, where I liken the essence of a woman to nature. And when
I
it
want you to
came
share
to
that in a moment. Just finish
oh sure, sure.
in a moment.
And when it came to how I needed to reinvent myself, I started to do affirmations to tell
Mhm.
myself that I had what I needed already, because the scariest thing about reinventing yourself is figuring out what do you want to do. And I'm 42 years old, and well, I'll be 42 in like a couple days, probably like
Happy
a week or
birthday.
two.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And I read something like a week ago that says the average woman entrepreneur is about 42 years old and they have that pivotal change around somewhere around 39. I manifested by saying I don't want to keep working where I was working for more than another couple years. And I literally said that out of my mouth, and the rug got pulled from underneath me, and I really wasn't working there. So I found myself in that pivotal place, and I'm like, well, what are you going to do? And I just really started believing in myself. And I was like, you know what? Why not write? Because I find myself writing all the time. And
Mhm.
I just didn't consider myself a writer. And I think that is um a big problem, not only for our community but for a lot of women. They do things so well, but they don't feel that they're doing it to the level that other people are doing it. They don't consider themselves as great as they are.
Mhm.
So, not to just pat myself on the back, but I really feel like I'm a very passionate writer. I feel like Maya Angelou,
Mhm.
she was born in April, I believe, just like me. And
Mhm.
when you're born in April, the your flower is a daisy and your gemstone is a diamond. I was formed under pressure.
That's right.
The daisy symbolizes a childlike innocence, which I still have. That's why I was able to tap into my imagination.
Mhm.
And it also symbolizes rebirth and regeneration. And that is my whole essence, like in a nutshell. Like, I it's nothing for me to start over. I just had to believe that what I was about to step out on faith was strong enough to step out there with. But
Mhm.
even if I just had a lemon and God told me to go start a lemonade stand, right now I'd be talking to you about how my lemonade stand went global.
That's
Because
right.
just like God told Daniel which rock
Mhm.
to pick to make that giant fall,
Mm-hmm.
it just came to me like, this is what you should be doing. This is what you should be doing. You write all the time. This is what you should be doing. And the reason why I chose bees to bring them back with that level of symbolism is so many correlations, but everything that bumblebees do is for the continuation of the hive. And I feel like my mother, my grandmother, my aunt made so many sacrifices for me because I am the continuation of the hive. The work that they put in, they actually did not experience the fruit of their labor. I did. My
Mm-hmm.
grandmother worked at Chrysler for 25 years so that she could provide her children a better life. My mother
Mm-hmm.
sent me to private school and she didn't have any money the rest of the month so that she could give me the best education she could, even when she couldn't talk to me about life because she really wasn't experienced in having a daughter. She bought me books. I had a plethora of books.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that I needed, I already had.
And you
You
saw
know,
her
like,
sacrifice and her fight and her strength and tenacity to just continue on and
yes,
do all those things for you, the books, without necessarily a lot of conversation, but she was
not a lot of
doing it.
conversation. But ever since I was 7 years old, I probably had at least 150 books or more. Ever since I was
Wow.
7 years old.
And you were reading them. Now, how that's another question. How do we get children to read books? They're not reading like they used to. They're looking online at books, and I don't know what they're doing, but I mean they look online. They're not reading, picking up hard copy books like they used to.
You're right. I think that the biggest thing in writing this book, when I thought about a child, I needed something that was visually appealing. So I tried to convey that to Susie, and Susie literally grew up in a garden, and it was the daughter of an artist savant. Like, her mom was just like amazing. Went to a beautiful art school in I believe Rhode Island, but they are just such a beautiful family, and she had been cultivated into just being a sweet, loving person. So she had the imagination within her to bring my dream to life because I was cultivated as a child as a flower. Like, my grandmother used to, it's so crazy. My grandmother used to recite a poem by Paul Lawrence Dunbar called Little Brown Baby with Sparkling Eyes. And at the end of the poem, she would say, Bees going to get you. And that's what I can remember in my head still right now. Bees gonna get you. So she planted the bees in me
Mm.
40 years ago, just reciting me that poem. And all of the beautiful women that I have been privy to, just wonderful women, it resonated with me. So when you say, how do we get children to read again? We have to make things visually appealing. We have to show them that, yes, what's online can be entertaining, but this is a different kind of entertainment. This entertainment leads to the birth of so many things. Like, you can read a book today and it may not correlate to you today, but 15 years from now, everything that you read in a book will be so necessary. You'll be like, oh my God, I read a book about that.
Mhm.
Because life is not just about today, it's tomorrow.
Mhm.
Mm.
That's right. And we learn from the things we experienced or heard in our past that can carry us on in our future. I'd like to read this one page. And like you said, the illustrations are just wonderful. And the little area. So it says, Did you know? And I love that it's short reads.
Yes.
So it's entertaining. Did you know a snail small, snail's shell grows with it? They're born with a soft little shell that hardens and spirals bigger as they grow. And you're showing
Hmm.
that. And Susie is the illustrator. It says, "Hi, I'm Susie the snail." So she's one of the characters, and it's
Hmm.
my job to make sure happiness always prevails. I'm smaller than a strawberry, but my spirit is bigger than a whale. My journey speed starts off slow, but my speed does not stop. How far I can go.
Hmm.
So it's encouraging, it's inspiring, it's poetic. So you were saying that you have one poem, uh, Black Woman. Tell what was that title again? That you're
My
going to read.
other poem is I Am a Woman, I Am a Tree.
Mm,
Actually, I have endless poems, but I wrote that poem because it was a reflection of a beautiful young lady who passed away by the name of Ashley Waller. She passed away last year. Her birthday is actually April 28th.
mm,
And I made her a butterfly. And I made her a butterfly because she loved butterflies. And I also wanted to let people know that butterflies are also pollinators, which I didn't know as much as I love science.
Yeah.
So, um, Ashley's name actually translates to ash tree when you look up the meaning of it.
mm.
And I'm like, I'm actually not a mother. This is the closest I'm going to get to having a baby because
Well, you got your brothers.
yeah, I have my
You're
brothers.
happy to
You're
care for them.
absolutely right. But Ashley actually has two beautiful children, and when I thought of her, I thought of her seedlings, which are her children. So that's what led me to write I Am a Woman, I Am a Tree, because her seedlings come to take the place of her, after she's gone. And ash tree, um from the ashes trees still regrow. And even a bigger thing, me being from Detroit, well, we're all from Detroit, but there was a
Yeah.
great fire, I believe it was either 1805 or 1807 in Detroit, and the actual mantra for Detroit is from the ashes.
Mm.
Mm.
So it's no
Amen.
wonder that we are as resilient as we are. It's no wonder that people all over the world are talking about how beautiful our city is, how artistic
Yeah.
it is, how
Yeah.
they're saying skip other cities, come to Detroit. So when you just showed that picture, they're actually at Belle Isle. And Belle Isle is such a beautiful park.
Mm, it
It is.
is.
That is the setting for Meet the Busbies because that is the park that my mother, my grandmother, my aunt took me to all of my life. And it was so important to me to put references to Motown in here because my mother would sing all of the Supremes, all of
Mm.
Marvin Gaye songs,
The
Smokey Robinson.
Temptations.
That's all I listened to, the Temptations. So on the
Don't
first
forget
story
Stevie
page,
Wonder, even though he
oh,
wasn't
yes, of course,
Motown.
I put him in the back of the book because that was one of her favorite songs, "A Ribbon in the Sky."
Ah.
So there's actually only two storybook pages in the book, and I did that because
Yeah.
I didn't want to overwhelm children. So the first storybook page
Mhm.
uh, is right here, and on this page, I won't read the whole thing, but
Mhm.
it says, "Hey Giselle, wait for me. I know you're sad about your pet bee, but don't worry, you'll find another one. You'll see. This is Michigan, and it won't take a quest to see another one of those furry bumblebees," said Gianni. "Gianni, you just don't understand. Buzzy wasn't just any bee. He was my true friend, and now he's gone to bumblebee heaven. I'm sorry, Giselle. I didn't know he meant so much to you. As your best friend, is there anything that I can do?" "Aw, thanks, Gianni, but I just really miss his buzzing, sweet tune. His music reminded me of Motown and its rhythmic hue. You know, the kind of melodies that could erase away all your blues. So, even deeper still, when I say metaphorical, I want to go all the way. So,
Yeah.
when you think of the blues, you think of music like BB King and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But the music is literally erasing your blues. So at the end of the story, after they've heard the music of the bumblebees, because bumblebees make their own music, um, because their wings flap over 200 times in a second. So
Over
it was just
200
so many things
in a
that correlated
second.
with
Yeah.
each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to put Motown in it. And at the end of the book, I put a busy bee guide to the city
I was just going to
Um,
share that Robert's going to
yeah.
be asking you at the end of our segment about some places in the city. And Rob, she
Yeah.
has 2 pages dedicated to Detroit's Busy Bee Guide in the city,
Okay. So that
and
means
it's
I
gonna
don't want
keep
you to
you
give me
buzzing. You got to give us
so
some different
so
ones.
so you got to. Oh, you can use it from the book, but you got to give me your best three out of the book for you
Okay.
That's it.
for
Not
you
now.
for
Not now. That's
not
at
not
the end.
not now not now. But let me ask you a question,
Hmm.
Lashana. What keeps you going? Right. I know what got you there, but what keeps you going? Because once somebody makes a book, you've been successful. Now, your book is international. I see you doing your thing. You're a strong black woman. You're going here, you're going there. What keeps you going after the hoopla, like after the fame? What keeps you going to the next spot?
Cancer keeps me going. If people are
Mm,
still going to be affected by cancer, I'm going to do everything that I can to punch, kick, fight, howl, roar, stop
yeah.
cancer out until we have a cure,
Mhm.
Mm,
because cancer took way too much from me. So
yeah.
literally the Busby's will be going to Madrid, Spain, because in Madrid, Spain, they have found a cure for cancer, for pancreatic cancer in lab mice. And I want to
Really?
go over there and study abroad because they're going to start doing clinical trials on humans either later this year
Oh
or the
wow.
beginning of next year. So wherever cancer is, I'm going to be there knocking on the door, tapping on the door, trying to find the answer. Literally on my Meet the Busby's page, all I do is post new information about cancer, like some of the best
Mhm.
foods to eat that deter cancer. Like actually the
Mm,
flowers in the story, like one
Mhm.
of the flowers I chose was a dandelion because dandelion
mm,
root is studied for
Oh,
its
you
medicinal
came with a
person.
dandelion root. I have some dandelion root too, because in my mother's side of the family, literally everyone has transitioned because of cancer and pancreatic cancer, colon cancer, everyone on that side of the family. So I want you to share some of those things that we should eat so that others who are listening can know that. And I love that you said, I dedicated this book to all of the scientists and researchers who dedicate their lives to finding a cure for cancer. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day it will be.
Hmm.
BEE.
yeah, I like it. So
I
this is
like
more of an informational, not just this is just giving you everything in, I don't want to call it layman's terms, but more of a simplified way that
Mhm,
not only can the children, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but not only the children, but the adults can understand it in the simplified form.
mhm,
Exactly.
I
Because
love that.
I put the reference for our local cancer charities right here in yellow and black because I
Mm,
want this to become a common conversation. If
mhm.
we know about it, we'll talk about it. If we talk about
Yeah,
it won't have to hit us like a freight train when it's too late and you don't have time to look around. There's literally
yeah.
organizations in here that will help people out who have been diagnosed with cancer to pay some of their, not all of their expenses, but they help them out with some of their expenses in the beginning because it's a really trying time. They also provide free, some of them provide free oncological therapists because
Mm,
they specialize in cancer. If you've just been told that you have a terminal illness, I think it's best that you talk to someone who has spent their time studying this disease and they know exactly what you're going through, not just
mm.
a regular therapist, someone who is dedicated to that. Because one of the most trying things I had to do is look at my mother after the doctor just told my mother, "No, I cannot operate on you
Mm.
because it is beyond that." I
You know,
had to
one of the
be.
sad
Mhm.
No, I was going to say one of the sad things with that, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but you said it
No
earlier and I
worries.
forgot about it. One of the sad things, because you said they found a cure to cancer or to pancreatic cancer. You said where?
For
mhm.
mice. So they
Oh,
were able to
for
cure
mice,
it
so
in
in clinical
mice
studies
in Madrid, Spain, and they're going to
in
start
Madrid, Spain.
clinical
And
studies on humans in a year or so.
my issue with that is big pharma makes so much money off of
Hmm.
cancer patients.
Hmm.
Even if there was a thing, I think they would try to shut it down because people would lose jobs and they would
Hmm.
go jobs over health and life. And I pray and always hope that that's not the case. But we just have so many different things that prove against that. And like
Mhm.
I truly wish that there were people that were in the big, like up there with big pharma, or whether it be food or things like that, because all those things are causes too, where they
Mhm.
said, you know
I
what, we have
literally,
more care. Yeah,
yeah, I literally
yeah.
saw a lawsuit that I believe, I don't want to misspeak,
Hmm.
but I believe, if not the state of California, a city inside of the state of California was
Hmm.
suing companies like Coca-Cola,
Hmm.
Doritos, all of those companies that are serving and selling ultra processed food.
Hmm.
If you are not familiar, I believe it's Phil Morris, correct me if I'm wrong. When people start realizing how bad cigarettes were, the same scientists that showed them how to make cigarettes addictive,
Hmm.
Philip Morris started purchasing food companies, and he took those same scientists and he had them critique, well, not critique, but research what made food addictive. And it was a combination of
Hmm.
salt and sugar to get you addicted to
Yeah,
food. And it's just an
yeah,
ongoing cycle.
yeah. There's this excerpt on Jubilee with Jillian Michaels, and she was talking to these people that were going again. It's a different topic about being body positive. And she said, I'm all for body positivity, but we have to go against these big companies, big food or large food companies that
Mhm.
are literally making things that make you addicted to it. It's literally to
Yes.
addict you to the things. And it also leads to all of the things, high blood pressure, cancer. And we go, oh, well, that's just in my family. No, it's not. These are things that are positioned, and it's a strategic strategy to put you in position to be that way. And we think it's something that's, oh, it's just the way my body makeup is. I mean, it can be, but stage 2 diabetes is a choice, right? And that's
Mhm.
something that we end up being a part of. I mean, again, obviously, there's different stages of different things, and people who have been born with it, and I can't even speak
Or
to that.
DNA does run,
Or
I
that's
right.
believe
true.
one of them is genetic, one of them is developed
Yeah.
over time from eating habits.
So
So you're not
yeah,
wrong.
so type 1 is something that you can just have, right? And
Hmm.
type 2
About
something is
diabetes.
diabetes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then type 2 is like, well, what are you eating?
It's a
What are
choice.
you
Yeah, that's
consuming,
something you
right?
can change
Yeah, and so a lot of these
generally.
food companies capitalize on your ability to keep the cost of living higher, so that you have to go to McDonald's and get the four, and get the dollar
Yes.
menu, or you got to go get the 4 for 4 from Wendy's. But then also that burger can sit out for 3 weeks and look the same.
But
It's
It
like,
there have been
does.
cures. There have been cures for cancer for years. When we
yeah.
used to have satellite, I used to have satellite before cable came about.
Hmm.
And there were programs in other countries that were showing cures for that was 25 years ago. And
Dr.
but
Sebi.
you had to have the money to be able to
Hmm.
get that particular cure for certain types of cancer.
Hmm.
And there's definitely truth in the fact that big pharma is not going to want mass numbers of people to be cured by cancer, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that we've got to still strive towards and people getting, making people aware of things that they can do to
Right.
help them if they are diagnosed with cancer, or to help the onset of cancer coming, to them. I can remember when my mother was ill, I started calling the Cancer Centers of America because I was
Hmm.
trying to find holistic things that she could then take to help bring, get rid of it and make it go into remission. But
Yeah.
what the challenge was, she was so accustomed, and many people are like this, they're accustomed to listening to whatever the doctor says and
Mhm.
prescribing whatever the doctor says. It's hard for people, especially when they become a certain age, to transition into holistic
Hmm.
thinking for something. But we have to get better with that, because there are a lot of natural things that we can take and put in our body that do help us for whatever the diabetes, cancer, whatever the situation is.
And
Um,
Mhm.
I'm so sorry that so much of your family has also passed away from cancer. But one thing that I heard at the end that you were seeking out the Cancer Centers of America.
mhm,
I
Mhm.
only remember the Cancer Centers of America because they advertise so much
mhm,
that when
Mhm.
you said it automatically resonated with me, and I can remember the commercial, and it was a lady ironically in the commercial who had pancreatic cancer. It was a middle-aged Caucasian woman, and I think she had on like a sweater and a vest or something like that, and she was saying how the
Mhm.
Cancer Centers of America had helped her, and she had a very rare form of cancer, which is pancreatic.
Mhm.
And I like, my goal is to get, like, the way that it's embedded in my head, to get it embedded in other people's head, that
Mm.
these are places that you can go to get help. I want you to
Mhm.
know about it before it's too late. Like, when your
Yeah.
check engine light comes on, it's
mhm,
already too late. Like, you should be having preventative maintenance. Your service advisor should
Mhm.
be telling you, like, oh, you're coming up on 60,000 miles. How about we schedule you for
Yeah.
this so you can know this? Like, I
Yeah.
just wanted this common knowledge. And going back also to what you said, um, one thing about people are always going to take a different approach
Mhm.
than what you may choose, right? But as long as people are able to make informed choices and decisions,
Mhm.
I feel like they will go on the best path for them.
Mhm.
With my mother being diagnosed March 6th and her passing away July 7th,
Mhm.
we didn't get a chance, to make an informed
Mhm.
decision or to
Yeah.
choose. And when I replayed back things, I wonder, like, at what point did you get cancer? Like, because
Mm.
I didn't even know to be looking for it, even
Yeah.
though my grandmother passed away from cancer, my aunt passed away from cancer, but it still wasn't clicking on. But
mhm.
when you lose
Mm.
your mother, the light
It
bulb
hits
came
different.
all the way
Yeah.
on, because it's not a coincidence anymore. That's telling me I need to be prepared, because as much as I love science, science is, I would say, 95% factual, right? Besides
Mhm.
hypothesis. Genetically, I may need to start looking now, because it's it's very possible,
You
because it's in
do.
my
Yeah.
Have you
family.
started having colonoscopies?
No, I believe they say you should start at like 50 years old.
Not when
And it's
many people, back up.
That was
Not
in
when
your
several
family.
people have
mm,
had cancer in your family. You can start now.
mhm.
But talk to your doctor and they'll schedule you. You've done a wonderful job. We're going to have to wind down with this book. I want everybody to go out and Meet the Busbys. Buy it for yourself, buy it for your children. It has a
Thank you.
myriad of information on. I'm going to look, because of the history in my family, I'm going to look at the organizations that you have listed here in the back of Meet the Busbys. I love it. I'm going to share it with my grandchildren and children as well. And Rasona, please let us know where we can go. I think you can just Google it and it comes up everywhere. But tell
Mhm.
us where you would like us to go, to your Facebook page, and where you would like us to go.
So we do have a website, meetthebusbies.com, where you can purchase your
Mhm.
book directly from me. We also have a TikTok at meet.thebusbies, and we're on Instagram and YouTube at Meet the Busbies. But literally, if you Google Meet the Busbies, you can find it any book, uh, on any book retailer online. Any book retailer online, literally, over 50.
Wow.
So,
And
yeah.
a portion of your proceeds, I think you should go towards the honey bee companies or something.
So I'll be donating. Actually, on April 6th, I'm going to be making a donation to the Carmano's Cancer Institute
Oh.
for my birthday.
Yes.
That's how I'm going to spend my
Mhm.
birthday.
Mhm.
And I also will have a bumblebee initiative that I'm going to donate to a little further in the year. But always, every birthday, my mom's birthday, I'm always doing something for somebody else, because um, it's a call to action. you know,
You're
Agreed.
and
living a purpose-driven life if you guys haven't read
Mhm.
that book.
It's a
We've
good
got to
book.
wind up. Rob's got a question he wants to ask you, and then I want to share something with you. Wayne County Community College District, it's not every year, but every 2 years they do. And so, but I know this is probably done at other places. It's a huge bumblebee conference. So everybody
Mhm.
who is that, you know, has beehives and
yes.
and you need to have this book and have your table there.
That would be
Keep
great.
in touch with me and I will remember to do it. They did it last year, so I don't know if it'll be this summer, but we'll stay in touch. But look out for those. They're wonderful. And I got great sample, bought several bottles of honeybee. Take it away, Rob.
Yep.
Thank
So
you.
just give me your top three places, and don't cheat because I know you're going to use that book. But just give me your top three places that you would suggest to anybody that hasn't been to Detroit.
Okay, well, first I have to say a big shout out to Galia Dursey of the
Okay.
Detroit Pistons and Motor City Cruise
Mhm.
organization, because they helped facilitate Meet the Busbies when the Meet the Busbies was absolutely nothing. And they gave me tickets to the game, and she's just a beautiful person. Her and Mr. Sterling, they did something really beautiful for me for Meet the Busbies, and I could never forget them. So shout out to the Detroit Pistons and the Motor City
Love that.
Cruise.
Woo
Yeah.
woo.
And then another organization which is in the book is Hungry Howie's. Hungry Howie's partnered with me so that I could spread literacy all through the month of March. And they gave me a
Mm.
plethora of gift certificates. So every time I went to a school, I was able to give the children gift certificates. They've always supported me in every initiative that I've done. I've done a lot of giveaways, but definitely Hungry
Mhm.
Howie's. And my well, not my last choice, but another place another place that I would definitely say I would say I would say Belle Isle, because all of my memories are there. All of my memories there. My mother loved the water so much that my mother is a
Mhm.
Pisces, March 9th, and she literally would swim all the time in the river. So I couldn't think of a better place uh, to visit than Belle Isle. If
I
people
was
have
just there
never been
about
there,
2 weeks ago. It's beautiful. The
it's so beautiful.
aquarium, the conservatory,
Did they
everything.
redo the aquarium and everything? Oh man, I love that.
Yes, they've
I
redone
gotta
it.
go
The
back.
conservatory,
I gotta go
everything
back.
is absolutely
It was
beautiful.
voted one of the most beautiful aquariums in the I want to say in the nation, and the riverfront was
Riverwalk
voted
is
one of
is
the
the number
number
one.
one riverfronts in the nation.
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah.
we
we
got
almost
jewels here in Detroit.
we
Jewels.
We
really
do.
do. And the riverfront, I think it's not quite taking you to Belle Isle, but it's getting there. Or is it there
You can
already?
It's
get close to
You
it.
can
You can get
walk
close to it.
you get really close.
really
You get,
close.
Hmm.
you get really close. I will say you just made me miss Hungry Howie's because I forgot how good their pizza was. I haven't had Hungry Howie's in so long. It's been
It's
like 5 years.
delicious.
It
Yeah,
is.
it is super delicious, and obviously a huge shout out to the Detroit Pistons, and prayers for Kay Cunningham.
Winning.
He just had his lungs collapse
No.
on the court, which is
Oh,
crazy.
Yes.
And but he said that he should be good. You know that they're actually looking. They thought it was a season-ending injury, and he should be back according to what they said on Bleachers Report within the next couple of weeks. So
I know
shout out to
God.
youth, shout out to God,
Hmm.
and shout out
God.
to everybody that's there
Yes.
because if
I
that
know
was me,
God
I'd
has
be
got
down
him
for every season.
for sure. I know God's got him covered. And one last
Yeah,
person, I want to say thank you to Susie Hardings for helping me
Mhm.
illustrate this book. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Susie.
Mhm.
Thank you, Susie.
Mhm.
love that. I love
We're
that.
going to have you back again. We're going to have a panel discussion with some other things, maybe even some other authors, maybe even some bee companies, a
Oh,
honey
There we
bee.
go.
So we'll be in touch, and we thank you, Rasana. Go out and meet the buzz bees. Get your copy today. It's wonderful.
thank
All right,
you.
y'all. Have a good one.
Have a good one.